Hi guys, a little bit of a shock this morning, come down here. Luckily I've left this running. I'm just about to test DO2, but I'll show you why I am concerned right now. So there you go, when all your fish are sitting, gasping underneath the flow coming in. These are all my very, very special fish. See them there, very scaly, big shouldered. These are the specific Fensmere Leney crosses. Hoping I've caught this early enough. Luckily I've got this flowing in from the top lake. I'm going to go and check that in a second. But this very small bit of water, obviously it's a small tank. What I'm expecting to find is that dissolved oxygen is probably below 4 milligrams per litre. And we've just had an algal die-off in there, and it's such a small environment that they've utilised and used all the oxygen. So I've got my blowers. I've got two, I've got the portable blowers from AJS Fisheries that I'm just about to put on. It should get me through it, hopefully, and hopefully they're all right. I'll go and do the water testing now, and I'll keep you updated. All right, guys, so I've got aeration on this little tank now. From this a unit I get from AJS, which has got its own battery in. Lasts about 9-10 hours on one charge, which is fantastic. But as you can see, with 2 air stones going, pumping a fair amount of dissolved oxygen into that water, so a bit of air into that water, not oxygen. That's going to be very useful and just help with these fish. They're having a little bit of trouble at the moment, so I'll leave that on for the day. I'll probably bring the generator back from up at the farm. I can plug that in and recharge it, and leave that on overnight and just keep checking this water. What are we looking at? It's not super low, which is very odd. 5.2 milligrams per litre. You know, so it's odd that the fish would be, you know, just sat right up underneath there with their backs out the water. They obviously didn't like it very much. Something wasn't very conducive, you know, for them. Yeah, very odd. I'm just going to keep an eye on it all. It's not what I want to see me fish like that. I've actually taken the feeder out for the moment, because I don't want to put any more food in. I might just bring the other water parameter test down. And test it anyway. Yeah, just you got to keep on the ball here, haven't you? Otherwise, little things can just go wrong. And then, you know, there's only 25 fish in here, but these are very special ones to me because I've bred these specifically. They're a cross of my Leneys and my Fensmere fish. So to me, they're very, very special indeed. Okay, I just thought I'd come and check Fensmere. It's sitting between 6 and 6.1 milligrams per litre at about 8 o'clock this morning. So I'm pretty happy with that. That's all right. It's not a problem. Very interesting that even with a relatively decent DO2 at over 5, those fish were all sitting right underneath the flow coming in. It could mean that it's completely different. It could mean that that body of water being small with this drop in temperature got cold quite quickly overnight, and that water coming in from the main lake here through the siphon is warmer, and they might just be having a nice warm bath. Very interesting. It gets the old ticker going though, which I didn't want this morning. I've got air on it anyway now, so I'm going to shoot up the farm and test the water up there and make sure everything's all right. Right, so everything's good up the farm. The concrete tank's a little low. It's lower than it was anywhere on any of the sites. It was at 4.8 milligrams per litre. It's about 55, I think 56, 55%, something like that, saturation. No signs of them having any issues in there, but I've brought a hose up. I'm going to try and get a siphon going today from the main lake into the tank. The tank has an overflow, so if I can get a siphon going, it's perfect. It just can do what it's doing at Fensmere with the silt trap tank that I have that I'm using for the crosses that I showed this morning. So I just keep that fresh flow of water going in, and it's sort of happening, just happening, you know, and I haven't got to pay for any machinery to do it or anything like that. It's just going to happen by gravity feed. So yeah, otherwise main lake DO2s were, you know, 7.9, top lake 8.1, so everything's hunky-dory. Everything's looking good, although it's cold. It's 14 degrees. It's gone from scotcho to bloody freezing. Not great. I mean, the fish aren't feeding like they were yesterday. It's normal when you get these big changes and everyone thinks, oh yeah, look, you'll be waiting for this, you know, low pressure system to come in and the fish will really have it. I don't see it here in France. In my experience here in France, they like stable conditions, stable, long periods of stable weather, and the fish start feeding really well. You get these low pressures and these drops in water temperatures. Fish don't like it very much at all, in my experience. So, you know, a few days of this and they'll be okay, but in the short term, they don't like it. So anyway, there you go. I just thought I'd get you up to date with what's happening up here, but everything is tickety-boo. Catch you later about that. All right then. So, it's not exactly pouring in, but as you can see, we've got a siphon going from the top main lake now into the tank. Although, you know, it's not, it's a small, just a small hose. Over the course of over the course of 24 hours, that's still a considerable amount of water that I'm putting through this small tank. It's going to help the situation. There's no doubt about that. It's going to keep a fresh bit of water going through. I will get another hose. I'll get a 25 mil for this one, I think. This is only, what, I don't know, probably internal diameter's probably only about 15 mil. So if anyone wants to work the math on a siphon with a 2.5 metre drop, you know, you let me know what sort of water exchange is going through, but it's still a fair amount. When I come to finish all this, I've got my little stock pond I'm going to dig over here. When I do that, I'll bury a pipe in here, a 25 miller, and have that set up constantly with 2 cap ends that I can put on and stop when I need to, and get it going when I want it running. What I'll do is I'll have a extended end on here that I can roll out into what will be the catch pit here. So I'll always be able to have some fresh water to be able to put into that tank, because obviously I keep a load of fish in there when we're doing when we've done the harvest. I put them down in there, normally just overnight in their corrals, ready to go. And if you remember from this past winter, DO2 was dropping in there, and I can have the air going in there, of course, but I've normally got that in all my other swimming pools. So that's what I'll end up doing, and hopefully it'll all work out nicely. All right, I'm going to go home because it's just about to piss down. All right, catch you. Bye-bye. So Saturday morning down at the pond. Last couple of days haven't done a lot because I've had a good mate, Nick Gent, and his girlfriend Rachel over. They're just doing a little trip down to the Lot region, and they dropped in for a couple of days and a couple of nights, and we got on the sauce and had a bloody lovely time. So yeah, bloody marvellous. Great to meet Rachel and catch up with the Gentmeister. Planning some future big carp expeditions to some big publics along the way, which would be blooming marvellous. It'll all be next year now, but we've got a few ideas up our sleeves. We'll probably rustle up Wayne Cooper as well, so that'd be marvellous. So anyway, up at the farm, as you would have seen earlier on in the week, in the silt trap pond I have at Fensmere, I had what looked like a DO2 crash. We've had some colder weather come in, and a lot of the algae's dying off. Tested it. It was you know, still sort of 4.8, 4.9 milligrams per litre, which shouldn't have the fish up the top, sort of gasping for air. But that's what I found with them sitting in the overflow coming in from the siphon from Fensmere. Anyway, tested the water, and as I say, it was 4.8 milligrams per litre, which shouldn't really have been a problem. Stopped the feeding anyway there and got my portable aeration on the pond, and within about 10 minutes they were all just chewing the bottom up and going mental. So Yeah, not really too sure why they were doing that. Maybe someone can comment if you've seen it happen before. I mean, I have seen them in that tank. They seem to come up after feeding, and they're processing at the surface. Looks like you look like they're gasping for air, but they're more like the cows chewing the cud. Obviously, they're chewing stuff through their pharyngals, and maybe they just like doing that in the slightly warmer, higher upper levels of the water. Anyway, came down and tested everything here, and I've tested everything through this week, and everything's looking really good. And I'm really stoked to see that my little siphon hose pipe that I've put in has brought the level up brilliantly in this little stock pond, because this has got like 150 tench in it at the moment, and it's going to have a few more in because I'm going to keep fishing, trying to remove them, and I want to keep them alive because they're actually valuable commodity. So I'll just show you how much that water's come up, and yeah, pretty darn good. There we go, look, still going in. Not a great blooming flow, but it's still going in, and if you remember, this was down about 4 or 5 inches from this point, so it's come up really nicely. And you know, it's going to be a nice little way to keep this pond you know, really functional and keep some fish in it. Might even have my C1s in it this winter if I don't get the chance to dig my other pond out here, which I need to do in this next few weeks because I'm going to run out of time otherwise. But there you go. Right, I'm due to fill up the feeders today as well, so I've got 100 kilos of my mixture of my 15s and my 9 mils to go out onto my main feeder. I've just put feed in from here. This little one just moved. Just put feed in here, and as you can see, it seems to be quite lively. So I'm going to fill this feeder, and then I'm actually going to drag it into its final position, which is just inside. I've got a couple of poles here, I don't know if they're visible on here, a couple of poles. Just going to drag them into this bit of water here. Sorry if it's going out of focus. Just going to drag them into there. And that'll be its final resting place then until we come to do our harvest, because then that will create this perfect catch pit area here where the water will drain away from my outflow pipe and create a nice little catch pit here that the fish will excavate for me and make just netting a lot easier this year without having sort of carp holes all over the place, which actually made it quite difficult last season. So anyway, that's what we're up to. I'm just about to go and put the feed in, and I'll wander down yonder in the van today because the missus is away with a friend helping her at a horse saddle fitting expedition. So yeah, there you go. Let's get over here and get this stuff in. Okay, so there we go, 100 kilos of pellet for there. This is what I'm putting in sort of daily at the moment, this amount of my garlic maize, and I'm putting in about 10 kilo a day from the feeder on the side there, which I've got to work out a way to make that operate properly. I'm going to get a little timer and put it in the line, I think, from the battery to the machine, and then just have the machine switched on the on position the full time. But right, let's get this in, and I get home. I've actually got programs to write today for some of my clients and athletes over in Australia and New Zealand, so I better get it done and get home.